Hello friends, welcome to another video of Zeta Axis, and today we are going to discuss about cash crops grown in India, which will include cotton, tea, coffee, sugarcane and jute. We already discussed this slide in our previous video where we have seen that agriculture contributes 18% to the total GDP of India, while when we see employment opportunities then it gives 46% of the total employment. Therefore, agriculture is a very important sector. Now, the crops grown in India can be divided into cereals, millets, oilseeds, cash crops and pulses. We have made video for each of these categories, so do watch those videos. Today we are going to discuss cash crops. Now, the data that will be used in this video will be from 2022 to 2023 because latest data is not freely available. If you want to access latest data, then you can visit this link. However, the data here is limited. Now, what are cash crops? Cash crops are crops which are grown for its commercial value rather than direct consumption by the grower. So let's start with cotton. If we see the global cotton producing countries, then India is second after China. The conditions for cotton production are: it requires a temperature of 21 to 30 degrees Celsius, slightly warmer. It requires a rainfall that is 50 to 100 centimeter. Black soil, which should be well drained. It requires a neutral soil. It requires extensive irrigation. So it is a water intensive crop. It is grown in Kharif season. It does not like water logging. So it does require a lot of water, but water logging is not preferred for cotton. It does not like sandy or saline soil, and it does not like frost. So there should be at least 210 frost free days. Frost is very harmful to the cotton crops, so at least these many nights should be frost free. Here are the conditions in detail, where we can see that it requires hot and humid climate. Cotton thrives in hot and sunny climates. Average temperature should be from 21 to 30 degrees Celsius. Moderate rainfall around 50 to 100 centimeter is good for cotton. Sufficient rainfall during early growing stages is required. However, a dry period is required during the flowering and ball development time. Cotton requires a long frost-free period. Remember, frost is very important. This much frost-free period should be there. There should be at least 210 days where there should be no frost. Irrigation, it requires constant irrigation and it requires very huge amount of irrigation. It is a water-intensive crop. However, water logging harms the crop. Therefore, the soil should be well drained. Generally, regular black cotton soil is preferred for cotton production. It requires well-drained clay soil and it is rich in lime and phosphates. So the soil should be rich in lime and phosphates. The cotton is mainly a kharif crop in most of India, but in southern India, especially in Tamil Nadu, it can also be grown as rabi crop. Now here are the regions producing cotton, where we can see that it is spread from Rajasthan, Gujarat, Maharashtra to Telangana and even some parts of Tamil Nadu. If we see the majority of states producing cotton, then we can see Gujarat is the highest producer of cotton in India, followed by Maharashtra, Telangana, Karnataka and Rajasthan. If we see the types of soil in which it is produced, so we can see that Gujarat and Maharashtra are the major producer, and here we have black soil. You can clearly see the correlation. Both of these regions have black soil. Even Telangana and Karnataka, in the regions where the crop is grown, we have black soil. So black soil is preferred for cotton production. If we see the rainfall in these regions where cotton are grown, then we can see that these are rain-fed regions. That is, the rainfall is not much higher as we can see over here. Therefore, excessive irrigation dependence is there. A lot of water is required either through canals or through groundwater. Here we can see the relation between the regions where cotton is grown. Here there is a lot of canal irrigation due to projects of Sardar Sarovar. Here also a lot of dams are there. In Telangana, we have large number of dams on Godavari and Krishna river. Therefore, canal irrigation is used in Telangana. If you see the water stress, then groundwater stress level can be seen in the regions where cotton is grown in Gujarat. Some of these regions in Maharashtra and Telangana also have water stress, groundwater stress. If you see the regions in Gujarat, then Rajkot, Amreli and Surendranagar are the major districts producing cotton in Gujarat. Then in Maharashtra, we have Jalgaon, Jalna and Wardha. In Telangana, we have Nalgonda, Sangareddy, and Adilabad, while in Karnataka, we have Raichur, Yadgir, and Kalaburagi. In Rajasthan, we have Jodhpur, Hanumangarh, and Ganganagar. Here in this chart, we can see the top 5 states producing cotton and the top 3 districts like Gujarat. Surendranagar is the highest producer of cotton, followed by Amreli and Rajkot. Similarly, in Maharashtra, Jalgaon produces highest amount of cotton, followed by Jalna and Wardha. Now let's discuss about tea. Here you can see a tea garden, and this is generally on a hill slope. So if we see the top tea producing countries in the world, we can see that China leads the list, followed by India. So India is the second largest producer of tea in the world. Here we can see the conditions required for tea production, where it requires a temperature of 15 to 23 degrees Celsius, that is warm and humid climate. If you see the rainfall, then it requires a rainfall between 150 to 200 centimeter. And the rainfall should be evenly distributed across the year. That is, the rainfall should not be concentrated within a month, but it should occur evenly across the year. Humidity should be between 60 to 80%. So tea likes humid atmosphere. It is grown on hill slopes, which should be well drained because it does not like waterlogging, and it requires large amount of water for irrigation. Therefore, hill slope, they allow easy draining of water. It likes acidic soil. Remember, this is a very important reason why tea is not grown in southern India. In Assam, we have acidic soil, and therefore that region is preferred for tea cultivation. It requires huge amount of water. Therefore, we can see that it is a water intensive crop. It does not like waterlogging. Here we can see the conditions for tea cultivation in detail. It requires hot and humid climate, temperature within 13 degrees Celsius and 32 degrees Celsius. Low temperature causes slower growth and low yield. So if the temperature goes lower, then the growth of the tea is hampered. It grows more slowly and the yield is less. Rainfall again should be evenly distributed rainfall throughout the year. Dry spells, if they are longer, then they will adversely affect the growth of tea. Winter and spring rainfall is important, and too much cold is not good for tea production. Now, solar day length is an also important thing. Day length influences growth. Day length means solar day length, that is the duration for which sunlight is available. Day of less than 11 hours and 50 minutes duration for 6 weeks. So if continuously there is less duration of sun, that is less than 11 hours and 15 minutes for 6 weeks, then it will harm the growth of tea. It becomes dormant, and these seasonal dormancy occur when the sun is below 18 degree north. It requires large amount of irrigation, but stagnant water is harmful. Tea is a water intensive crop, we have already seen, and it requires well drained loamy soil, acidic soil having pH 4.5 to 5. So it likes acidic soil, and that is the reason it is not grown in South India. Now these are the regions we can see where tea is grown. Here we have regions in Tamil Nadu and Kerala. Karnataka, this is Chikmagalur district. Then in Himachal Pradesh, we have 2 districts where it is produced. Then in West Bengal, Assam, as well as some portions of Tripura. So here we can see the contribution of these states, where Assam is the leading producer with 51%, followed by West Bengal at 29%. Then we have Tamil Nadu at 12% and Kerala at 4%, Himachal Pradesh 2, and Karnataka with a meager 0.35%. Now here are the regions in Assam where tea is produced. These are the districts which produce tea, and by the color you can see the green color indicates the districts producing higher amount of tea. More amount of tea is produced in the hillier region compared to the plain region. We can see that Dibrugarh, Tinsukia, Jorhat, Viswanath, Sonitpur, Udalgiri, these are the regions producing higher amount of tea, along with Chachar. This is in the southern Assam. This is also an important region for tea production. In West Bengal, we see the districts in the northern region, that is Darjeeling, Jalpaiguri, Alipurduar, Coach Bihar, and Dinajpur Uttar. All these districts, they produce significant amount of tea. Within Karnataka, we have Chikmagalur, Hassan, and Kodagu as major tea producing regions. However, Chikmagalur has the highest contribution. Within Tamil Nadu, we have the Nilgiris, the Coimbatore. Remember, Coimbatore has Annamalai Hills where tea is produced, and in Idukki we have Munnar Hills. So Idukki is in Kerala. So here it produces tea, as well as Wayanad is in Kerala. So Wayanad and Idukki are the major producers in Kerala, while Coimbatore and the Nilgiri districts are major districts producing tea in Tamil Nadu. Within Himachal Pradesh, we have Kangra and Mandi districts producing tea. These are the top 5 states, along with the top 3 districts producing tea. Assam is the highest producer with Tinsukia and Dibrugarh, followed by Sivsagar district. In West Bengal, we have Jalpaiguri as the highest producer of tea, followed by Alipurduar and Darjeeling. In Tamil Nadu, Annamalai is the highest producer. The Nilgiri district produces very less amount of tea. In Kerala, we have Munnar and then Wayanad. Munnar is in Udukki district. Then we have Karnataka, Chikmagalur. Next is coffee. Coffee is also an important crop for India, grown in the southern India. If you see the global production, then Brazil is the highest producer of coffee and India is at 8th position. If you see the conditions required for coffee production, then it requires a temperature of 15 to 28 degrees Celsius. That is, it requires slightly warmer atmosphere and it is planted in shadows. So it does not like a lot of sunlight or lot of radiation. Therefore, it is grown in the shady region. It requires higher amount of rainfall. It is also grown on hill slopes because it does not like water logging. It requires well-drained soil. The pH is neutral. It is also a water-intensive crop, as we can see over here, and it requires it does not like high heat radiation. So we have seen that it is planted in shadows because it does not like high heat radiation. It is grown on hill slopes because it does not like waterlogging. Here are the conditions in detail. Temperature, hot and humid climate, and it should be between 15 to 28 degrees Celsius. Rainfall from 150 to 250 centimeter, and it is very sensitive to frost, snowfall, higher temperatures above 30 degrees Celsius. Therefore, it is grown on hilly regions where the temperature does not cross this limit. Now, strong sunshine is not good for coffee crops. We have seen that the coffee crop is grown in the shades of trees. So here you can see a coffee plantation, and these are the trees. So you can see that at distances there are trees planted, so the coffee plants are protected from direct sunlight. Stagnant water is harmful. It does not like water stagnation or waterlogging. Therefore, it is grown on slopes, and coffee is also an intensive crop. That is water intensive crop. It requires large amount of water. It requires well-drained, loamy soil. High humus content is good, and minerals like iron and calcium are also good for the crop. The coffee can be classified into 2 groups. However, there are 3 types of coffee, that is Liberia, but it is not generally used. The world consumption is only 10%, therefore we have not shown it here. There are only 2 main types of coffee, Arabica and Robusta. Both have different flavors and different tastes. Arabica, the world consumption 60%. That is 60% of the coffee consumed in the world is Arabica, and only 30% is Robusta, 10% is Liberia. It is milder and smoother. This is stronger and robust. It has lesser caffeine. It has higher caffeine. It has more sugar content. This has less sugar content. If you see the climate for cultivation, then it requires hot and humid equatorial climate. This requires subtropical and moderate climate. It requires higher temperature. This requires lower temperature compared to Arabica. It is grown on higher altitudes, 1000 to 2000 meter. This is grown on lower altitudes, 0 to 700 meter. It is more susceptible to disease. This is more resistant to disease. Even in our southern India, a lot of Arabica plants are grown. If we see the production, then we can see that the regions which produce the Arabica and Robusta coffee, and we can see that Karnataka, which is the leading producer of coffee in India, there this yellow color indicates the proportion of Robusta and the green color indicates the proportion of Arabica. So we can see that less than 50% of coffee grown in Karnataka is Arabica and most of it is Robusta. In Kerala, most of it is Robusta, but in Tamil Nadu and Andhra Pradesh, we have most of Arabica production. Now, these 3 are traditional regions which produce coffee. Andhra Pradesh and Odisha are called non-traditional areas, while northeastern region also produces very small amount of coffee. Here we can see the regions which produce coffee in southern India. We have Chikmagalur, Hassan and Kodagu producing coffee. This is similar to regions producing tea, but coffee is produced in higher proportion here. Then in Kerala, we have Wayanad and Idukki as well as Palakkad district which produce coffee, and in Tamil Nadu, we have the Nilgiris, Coimbatore, Annamalai's hills are there where it is produced. Then Dindigul where Pune hills are there, and then in Salem also coffee is produced. In Andhra Pradesh, we have Aluri, Sitaram, Raju district where these are the regions, Minumuluru, Chintapalli and Araku Valley where coffee is produced. Araku Valley is on the border with Odisha somewhere over here. So same region also produces coffee in Odisha. Here are the top states producing coffee with the top districts producing coffee in those states. Karnataka has 71%, in which Kodagu is the highest producer of coffee, followed by Chikmagalur and Hassan. In Kerala, we have Wayanad, followed by Travancore and Nilampati, and then in Tamil Nadu, we have Pulnes, Nilgiris, Savoy. In non-traditional areas, Andhra Pradesh is there, and then Odisha is there. Here we have seen that Araku Valley is known for coffee production. And in northeastern region, we have Meghalaya, Mizoram and Assam, which produce some proportion of coffee. Now let's see conditions for sugarcane production. So if you see the global production data, then Brazil is the highest producer of sugarcane, followed by India. And if you see the conditions for sugarcane production, then it requires slightly warmer atmosphere from 21 to 27 degrees Celsius. It also requires slightly higher rainfall from 75 to 150 centimeter. The soil should be well drained. It likes some amount of water holding capacity, but waterlogging should not occur ideally. It likes both acidic and alkaline soil. You can see it ranges from 5 to 8.5. If the soil is too acidic, then lime can be added, and if the soil is too alkaline, then gypsum can be added. It is a water intensive crop. It requires large amount of irrigation. It is kharif crop in most of India, but in Tamil Nadu it can also be grown as rabi crop. Remember, the amount of time that is required for sugarcane production can be from 12 to 14 months, even in some cases higher. It requires almost an year for production. The sugarcane belongs to bamboo family, and sugarcane is the main source of sugar, jaggery and khansari. 2/3 of the sugarcane is used for jaggery production and khansari production, and only 1/3 is used for sugar production. Here we can see the conditions for sugarcane cultivation in detail. It requires hot and humid climate. It thrives in hot and sunny climates. The average temperature required is 21 to 27 degrees Celsius. Cool and dry winter is ideal for ripening and harvesting. So, ripening and harvesting should occur in cool and dry winters. Harvesting should ideally take place during the cool, dry winter seasons when the sugar content is highest. So, the sugar content or the sucrose content in sugarcane is highest during the winter season. Rainfall should be moderate, around 75 to 150 centimeter, and sufficient rainfall during early growth stages. A day period during flowering and ball development. So a dry period is required when there is flowering occurring in the sugarcane. Now let's see what are the irrigation requirement. It is a water intensive crop needing large water supply. It requires a consistent supply of water throughout the growing phase. Waterlogging harms the crop. So it requires high amount of irrigation, but waterlogging should be prevented. Well drained loamy soil suits most. Sugarcane can grow in various types of soil, and the soil should be rich in nitrogen, phosphorus and calcium. And what is the time for cultivation? We have seen that it is a long duration crop and requires 10 to 14 months and even 18 months to mature depending on the region where it is produced. It is a kharif crop in most of India, but in Tamil Nadu it can also be grown as rabi crop. These are the regions in India where sugarcane is produced, and we can see that it is produced in these other regions where this is Uttar Pradesh, and it is also grown in the western India in Maharashtra. If you see the major states which produce sugarcane, then we have Uttar Pradesh at 47%, followed by Maharashtra at 27%, then we have Karnataka at 12%, Tamil Nadu at 3%, and we have Bihar at 3%. Here we can see that it is grown in different types of soil. Here in Uttar Pradesh, there is alluvial soil of Ganga plains. Here we have black soil from the Deccan Traps. Here in Tamil Nadu, we have basically red and black soil. In fact, laterite soil is also there. So sugarcane is basically grown in different regions. In fact, today most of the crops can be grown in different types of soil because of the availability of fertilizers. If you see the rainfall, then in these regions also the rainfall is less, but water is supplied through different types of irrigation like canal irrigation or groundwater irrigation. Here we can see that in Uttar Pradesh there is large amount of irrigation facilities available, and that is why Uttar Pradesh is a leading producer of sugarcane. Here also groundwater irrigation is used in Maharashtra. If we see the water stressed region, then we can see that UP has a lot of regions which are groundwater stressed. Even in Maharashtra, we can see there are regions which are water stressed. In Uttar Pradesh, the majority districts which produce sugarcane are Bijnor, Kheri and Sitapur. In Maharashtra, we have Solapur, Pune and Ahmednagar. In Karnataka, Vijaypura, Bagalkot and Belgavi are the major districts producing sugarcane, and in Tamil Nadu we have Erode, Kallakurichi and Gudalur. In Bihar we have Paschim Champaran, Purvi Champaran and Sitamarhi. So these are the top 5 states producing sugarcane in India, along with the top 3 districts. In Uttar Pradesh, Kheri district produces highest amount of sugarcane, followed by Bijnor and Sitapur. In Maharashtra it is Solapur, followed by Ahmednagar and Pune. In Karnataka, Belgavi district produces highest amount of sugarcane, followed by Bagalkot and Vijaypura. Now let's see jute. Jute is also a crop of tropical climate. It requires warmer temperature, 24 to 35 degrees Celsius. It also likes higher rainfall and relatively higher humidity. It requires river basins or alluvial soil. The soil should be acidic and it likes loamy soil. It is mainly grown in our eastern India, in West Bengal and Assam. If we see, then the majority producer is West Bengal, which alone produces 90% of the total jute produced in India, followed by Assam, Bihar and very small amount from Meghalaya and Tripura. If we see the types of soil, then here we have river basin. This is the Ganga Delta region. Here also we have Brahmaputra river. So alluvial soil is preferred for jute production. In these regions there is significant amount of rainfall which helps in cultivation of jute. We can see that irrigation facilities are there, but these regions also receive large amount of rainfall. Therefore, we do not see that much of the region is water stressed. Here in West Bengal, we have Murshidabad, Nadia and 24 Parangans north producing jute. And in Assam, we have Dhubri, Marigaon and Nagaon. These are the top 5 states producing jute, but only West Bengal and Assam produce significant to be mentioned. We have West Bengal, in which Murshidabad produces highest amount of jute, followed by Nadia. Then we have 24 Parangas north. Then in Assam, we have Nagaon, Dhubri and Marigaon. I hope you liked our video on the cash crops and it cleared all your doubts related to cash crops. If you have liked the video, then do subscribe to the channel and share it with your friends. If you like what we are doing, then you can help us using the Paytm ID. Thanks for watching the video.